What is it that drives a man to make journalists? Is it the money? Is it the power? Is it the sunflower seeds? Or is it the lusty bitches? What's that in there? It's the Hamster Indoctrination machine. Possible. I chose Hampture. Hampture. I edited the video a bit, as you can see. I didn't feel that the footage of the game itself was necessary. I really just wanted the intro. It's tough to find a playthrough where the Let's Player kept the camera steady enough for that to work. Yeah, this is just a Gen 1 iPod Touch I found used off of Craigslist. I figured I didn't need anything fancier than that. I got a smaller one so that I could fit a screen inside the ham sub as well, so they could actually watch the BioShock Intro to Rapture slideshow on the way down to Hampture, like it happens in the game. Problem is that this little Chinese piece of shit does not play MP4s like it said it would. It plays a slightly modified version of MP4s called AMV, which is not anime music video. I checked. It's advanced media file. I don't know how to set my video editing software to render in AMV. I got a program online, a free program that converts to AMV, but even after doing that, this thing doesn't recognize the video files. So this will have to wait. This will be for the future, once I figure out how to convert videos so they'll play on this stupid thing. But that opens up some interesting possibilities, as I'm sure has already occurred to you. Because now, the community can vote on a playlist of Hamster Indoctrination videos that will play on the iPod Touch. I'll just have to set it to play continuously in a loop and power it off of the same electrical system that I'm going to install in MegaHab, which is going to be one of those 110 plugs, pass-through plugs that has a bunch of, like 3 plugs on it and a bunch of USB outputs, which are going to power the 110 outlets are going to power the heated floor, and then the USB are going to power the lights, and now the what to a hamster it must seem like a widescreen HD TV, big screen. I'm not sure how I'm going to mount it. I think I'm going to try to get one of those motorcycle phone mounts, those plastic mounts that's supposed to hold it on the handlebar, except instead of mounting it to the handlebar, I'll remove that part and permanently affix the mount to one of these walls, probably the back wall, and then it will be removable. So if I need to replace this thing, I can remove it easily. So yeah, that's the developments which have happened on the electronics front. I thought you guys would be excited about that. It's been tough keeping it a secret because people keep asking me on the Twitter about Raspberry Pis and putting little screens in the habitat, and I've got to be like, shut up, man. Shh. So I'm trying to keep a secret. Now, I've also got a second valve, I guess a third gate valve, because although I want to keep it to these 2 habitats for a while until this is fully built out and perfected, but I also don't want to plan around keeping it this limited. I want to put the infrastructure in place that'll be necessary to connect habitats on both sides of this, because ultimately, if the money gets good enough to where I can really afford to expand quickly, I want to build 8 of these. And every single one of those 8 is going to have 2 of these gate valves on either side so I can connect them in an octagon. Using this tunnel, although I don't think this tubing is going to cut it because it's way too rigid. I found more flexible tubing on Amazon that I'm going to buy a 10-foot length of. But after I have that ring of 8 megahabs, I'm just going to use this one as the food and water resupply hab. I may even add more than 1 water bottle. I might add 4 water bottles to it just so it lasts a long fucking time. And the rest of the interior of this will just be food containers. So that way I can leave the main ring of habitats underwater all the time. And I only have to remove 1 module to replenish the food periodically. And then on the other side of the ring of habitats, I'll have another module like this one that's just a dedicated bathroom. And I'm not going to put a heater in that one because if you heat up the dirty litter, it just gets gross. So that'll be a dedicated shitter, and I'll train them to shit in it by putting some of their waste in there. And hopefully that will keep the rest of the habitat nice, such that I will only need to uncouple one of the modules and bring it to the surface in really rare circumstances. Now, what's this over here? A habitat for ants? Why, yes, in fact it is. Now, don't get too excited. Don't get your hopes up. Like that Christmas when you thought you were going to get that rad transformer that opens up into that fucking playset with the Matchbox cars, whatever that was. Remember that? And then you got the Looney Tunes sweater instead. I digress. This is an ant farm, if you can believe it. It's really strangely designed, which is why I liked it. It's got all these tubes interconnecting various levels. It's got a vertical climbing tube. This is the gel back here. This is just a fun thing I bought on a whim as a side project. Yes, I want to put it underwater. Once I get the aquarium, I just want to tuck this away in a corner and have a little ant society going on apart from and separate from the whole hamster project. Just because one of my inspirations back in the day was a guy making Hampture, which is an underwater ant city, and he didn't get further with it than just a regular kid's ant farm in a small hexagonal fish tank. I thought I could probably do better than that and have a cooler design that looks like an underwater station. Maybe light it up from the bottom up with LEDs so you can see the ants more clearly, and just have a little cool underwater ant city side project. And that will be much easier to complete quickly because ants are so tiny that you don't need to build them these gigantic habitats. If you don't follow me on Twitter, first of all, follow me on Twitter, please. Secondly, there's a fan art contest going on now. I've got 10 copies of Narcosis, which is a game that I worked on a while back. It's an underwater horror game that has optional VR support, and that'll be the prize. 5 of them are for Steam, 5 are for PSN. I'm going to use the art that I like for merchandising designs, and I realize, there's a lot of people on the internet now looking for free work from artists, so I'm not going to try to pass off a free computer game or PSN game as payment. That'll be a prize you get in addition to whatever we negotiate in terms of payment for the artwork. But yes, merch is coming. I was just waiting on this fan art contest as a fun way to see what the community can come up with in the way of artistic tributes to Hampture. I noticed I've got some supporters on New Project 2, which is great. What's not great is I have no idea how to get my money out of this site. I vaguely recall it gave me the option to set up payment when I signed up, but I skipped past it thinking I would have time to do that after I got the page set up, and now I can't find it in the menu system. So anybody familiar with New Project 2 who can help me, please comment and let me know how to get the money out of this damn thing. Check out this underwater camera that I was looking at for the exterior view of Hampture. There's also this 6-inch diameter dome I was looking at, which would fit neatly into the roof of Megahab as a possible alternative to just one big sheet of acrylic. It would enclose more air, which would add buoyancy. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I could probably counteract it if needed by just pouring some lead shot into the ballast pods. That would leave some opaque space on the ceiling to mount the LED lights, is what I was thinking, and maybe the camera. I've got my eye on this as a cheaper alternative to scuba. It's basically a fancy snorkel, but it would let me see what I'm doing, duck down in order to do stuff like purging tunnels while holding my breath. It's not ideal, but the price is much lower than what scuba gear would cost, and the water is going to be shallow enough that scuba is kind of overkill. This also has a GoPro mount, which will be handy to get first-person footage of maintenance on Hampture. And this, you can guess what this is for. One of these is going to go on top of the life support buoy, obviously. Here to here is about 6 inches, which is why I was thinking like the dome, 6-inch diameter dome would fit right in the middle of the lid fairly neatly. It's just a question of whether you guys think that would look cooler versus having a much larger flat window. Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, and those of you who are artistically talented, I want to see your fan art. And that's all for this time. Remember, every day is a new nightmare on this hell world called Earth. For we are God's children, and He has left us in a hot car with the windows rolled up.